No more, setting high, lofty goals and then closing the door and getting on with business. We need to figure out the action plans, the roadmaps, the pathway there. I've been with Colgate a long time, 31 years, and I grew up in the supply chain. I've had the good fortune to work in many end-to-end roles across the whole supply chain, from manufacturing to customer service and logistics, across all our core categories. I worked across the supply chain and then moved back to headquarters at the beginning of 2018 to head up supply chain strategy and global sustainability. The best advice I received early on in my career at Colgate was to forge my own path and to let others know you need to be empowered and you need to forge that path on your own, and you need to, most importantly, let people know what it is you want to do, and don't compare yourself to others. Every person's unique. Every person has their own pathway there. That's what's so fascinating about sustainability. There's many chief sustainability officers that have arrived in these roles, and the number of chief sustainability officers over the past 5 years, I think, has doubled. And we're coming at it from lots of different angles, with different backgrounds. Much of the work that we're doing around eliminating plastic waste and making our packaging more sustainable is helping consumers bridge the gap to make behavioral changes. And that's hard to crack. That's hard to figure out. We call it the intention-action gap. We have lots of data that, particularly when it comes to consumer products, people want to buy more sustainable products, live more sustainably at home. 92% of the people, according to Kantar, say this, but only 16% of the people actually act on it. Today's process to collect all the data necessary to report against, for instance, our climate ambition and our climate targets needs to be automated, it needs to be robust. So that's where I really think sustainability meets the digital transformation. We need to get much more digital to be ready for that. So how do we become more agile, more resilient, and at the same time take waste out of the system? And that's where I think there's a big intersection with sustainability, because I think as we look to make our supply chains more resilient, more agile, more closer to home if necessary, building the network in a new way that takes carbon footprint into account, the most efficient network will also be the most carbon efficient network. So you're really marrying taking waste out of the system to making a more resilient supply chain. If we're gonna really make a dent, really make an impact, we can't do it alone, both internally, and we can't do it alone externally. So it really relies on partnership. And then build on that with additional training around sustainability to figure out how they can marry the two. So it's, forging your path, marrying your passion. And I would encourage young people to follow that same approach.